Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butts, get big or get out.
You know, it's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize like, wow, like this piece of legislation, all this money, like it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Roberta's, home of Heritage Radio Network for 10 years. Learn more about Roberta's at robertaspizza.com.
Hello, and welcome to Snacky Tunes. I'm your host, Greg Bresnitz. On today's episode, I am joined by Zack Wangeman of Sobre, an incredible tortilleria in Bushwick. We talk about growing up in Oaxaca, his search for the perfect pastry that took him around the world, how he fell in love with his culinary heritage cooking family meals at some of the globe's best restaurants, and the path to opening a restaurant featuring heirloom Mexican corn in Brooklyn. Later on in the episode, we dip into our archives with a performance from Asylum. So sit back, relax, and here's another episode of Snacky Tunes on HRN.
We talk about food, we talk about music, with musical dudes, finger on the pulse, Snacky Tunes.
We came in search of the secret of immortality, to be like God, to be like God. And here, more human. This is the end of our adventure. 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 This is the end of our adventure.
Hello and welcome to Snacky Tunes. I'm one half your host, Greg Bresnitz. On my first interview of the year, I am joined by Zack Wangeman of Sobre Masa in Williamsburg. And just reading about your restaurant and your entire food program has my mouth watering. And we're going to get to that. But let's go back to the beginning. You are from Oaxaca. You grew up there. What was your childhood like? And you said you always knew you wanted to be a chef. When did that thought pop into your head? And what were some of the early attempts on your culinary journey?
Like you said, I'm from Oaxaca. And I've wanted to be a chef for a very long time now. Probably just early high school. I started to be curious about cooking. And I started really just exploring the local restaurants, and a couple of them let me go in and start staging with them, spending the day with them. So I'd, be in high school and then working the weekends, working weddings and stuff like that in these restaurants. And that really helped just seal my love for cooking. So as soon as I graduated, I knew that, this was going to be my path to pursue.
What were some of the lessons that you got from working those early jobs that you still carry today?
Well, I think honestly, it was a very strong just reality check, just knowing that it's an ambitious industry. It's an industry that requires a lot of hard work. And it's an industry that requires a lot of love as well, So I think probably one of the biggest things for me early on was just falling in love with the industry and the community, just have this whole industry that's fueled by extremely passionate individuals.
Incredible. One of the things that you noticed early on that there was like an accessibility gap to really good pastries where you were. What was that revelation?
Well, my grandparents are from the States. And so I would come visit them every Christmas, every spring break. And I just really noticed, like those English muffins. I used to love English muffins. I used to love just, croissants and just this level of pastry and baked goods that I just always missed in Oaxaca, and I knew I wanted to be a cook, and I love pastry, and, just even just like a chocolate chip cookie, you just could not find in Oaxaca when I was there. And,
what was the current state of pastries in Oaxaca?
Well, obviously now it's a lot changed, and there's a lot of people.
I apologize. At that time, what was the current condition?
Oh, well, at that time, there wasn't really anything. There wasn't really any like, as opposed to like, I guess, refined French pastry and baked goods. There wasn't really anyone executing it at a proper level. There was a lot of great just, Mexican pastries like the conchas and the orejas, the polvorones and all those things. But, there was probably 2 mezcal bars, and now imagine pastries,
Right.
There wasn't much.
So that took you on a global journey, the search of a good pastry. Where did you go after you left high school and continued on your journey?
After I left high school, I got a stage at John George with Johnny Uzzini and with Francois Paillard when he had just reopened his bakery in Houston. This was in 2010. And, culinary school was a big commitment for me. And I wanted to make sure if I was going to go, it was going to be for pastry. I never really worked professionally in pastry before. So, I spent 3 months at each, just really, I guess, making sure it's what I wanted to do before committing to culinary school.
And, to choose the track of pastry, most people want to work the line, they want to work the hot station, they want to, flip meat, etc. What do you feel you gained by focusing on pastry versus if you had gone a more traditional route?
Well, I'm a very big nerd and I love reading and I love understanding ingredients. I think in culinary, you also need a deep understanding in ingredients, but I think in pastry, even more so at a, chemical level, understanding, the crystals in chocolate to be able to temper it properly. And just all that research and how just knowledge on ingredients really powered you to be able to manipulate them in shapes, textures, and flavors that I didn't really know were possible. Just understanding the science behind chocolate alone is, is a career path all on its own. And then, when you separate it into bread and, confectionery work, it's just a whole world that I was just completely in love with. I was also being exposed to more things like, I really love the uncertainty of, as soon as the mix is done, as soon as it goes in the oven, that's it. There's no fixing it, you know? Godspeed at that point, right? So I really love the research behind things and being able to use that knowledge to manipulate things.
It's a very Zen approach. You can't just like add salt or crack some pepper over it in the end. You just gotta be confident and walk away. I am curious, what is one of the more misunderstood things about chocolate?
I think chocolate is a lot of work. Um, just it's a very complex food. I mean, everything from just like the farming and um, and the fermentation. It undergoes in the farm and the drying process. That's like one massive step, and then you have the roasting of it, right? And grinding of it into the paste. Before even me as pastry chef, I got it. It's already gone through like, a massive history and a massive amount of technique and hands. And just the manipulation alone, you look at cocoa butter, which is like the main fat in chocolate. It crystallizes in 6 different shapes, and you need to take it through basically a series of temperatures in a certain amount of times to be able to work with it properly, so that it can have a proper shelf life, so it can have that nice shine that we see in chocolate, that have that that texture, that like smooth texture. So I think people, you take a chocolate bar, and I don't really think people realize just the amount of work and labor that goes into it, from seed to like, let's say, a finished bonbon. And now they're taking it to a whole nother level. Like, I see these like competition chefs doing these like chocolate sculptures, man. Like, I have no idea how they achieve some of the things that they achieve there.
When you were staging and cooking, you started to experience nostalgia for Mexican food and the food of your youth, and started cooking it for a family meal. What were some of the dishes that you cooked, and what were some of the iterations you made on the classic traditions?
When I was in Meadowood, that's when that started to happen. Just like my itch of, oh my God, I don't know how to make family meal. I don't know how to cook Mexican food, even being from there. And it all started very simple. My sous chef asked me to make horchata for family meal. And I was like, oh my God, like I've never made horchata before. And that was definitely the beginning. That sous chef, by saying that thing, probably impacted my life. It's probably one of the sentences that has impacted my life the most. Just, I guess, counting that sentence as the beginning of that journey. But from there on, I was like on this mission to understand and learn more about my cuisine. At Meadowood, when I was working there, I cooked all 7 moles from Oaxaca there and learned how to make them through there, and then a little bit more so just on my own, learning how to make tamales properly. That was also a really big journey for me. Tamales are one of the oldest foods in the world that are still consumed, and in many ways still consumed just like they were consumed in pre-Columbian times. So understanding that history was something that really fascinated me, and being able to execute it at a level as if I was having it in Oaxaca was a big challenge for me.
You went on and had amazing stages, and as you mentioned, you spent 2 years at the restaurant at Meadowood. After leaving that, you started focusing on a series of pop-ups where kind of the core identity was quality ingredients. That was the main thing. What were you cooking at those pop-ups, and what were you trying to say and express with your food?
Those pop-ups were utterly selfish cooking, and I say that because I only cook things. I only cook things that I missed eating. One of my favorite moles from Oaxaca that you just don't really see here. Everything's a mole negro, which is great. But my favorite mole was this mole almendrado, which is rich in almonds, and it also has capers and olives in it. It has a lot of that like Spanish influence into it. And I just love this almendrado. And you couldn't find it anywhere. So I think that's a good dish of those examples, because the dish that you don't really see that often, and it's a dish that's very popular in Oaxaca, and it's a dish that I miss, very much.
And that's also where you got really into corn. And I'd love for you to explain the current state of the corn industry in Mexico and your approach to bringing awareness to it and working with local farmers as well.
Well, yeah, I think through these pop-ups, making this almendrado mole, you're like, well, I need tortillas to serve with this mole. And that was a very hard task to accomplish. In these and through all this research of learning how to make all these dishes, all this Mexican food, making tortillas in New York City was probably the biggest challenge from all of it, just because accessibility. I didn't have access to corn. I didn't have access to a mill, right? I didn't have access to like a nice comal. And also tortillas are just so, accessible in Mexico. I've never really done nixtamalization before. I started doing these trips to Mexico solely with the focus of learning nixtamalization and seeing all these ladies. I really saw the product in all of its shapes and sizes, from beautiful hand pressed artisanal tortillas to like a more manufactured industrial process. And I had a very pastry chef mentality to this, like, let's find the perfect recipe to a tortilla and let me understand the ingredients so I can be able to execute this. But, I'm asking all these people like, well, what's the perfect tortilla for you? And they all had a different answer. And that's when it really just felt like an endless journey, because, and I guess is more pointed towards answering your question about the state of corn in Mexico. The state of corn is that it's a nation who has thrived on this ingredient for thousands of years, and it has millions of different tastes, shapes, textures, and everyone likes it different. So what's the perfect tortilla? I think the answer really depends on your abuela. And it was an answer I was never going to get. I had to understand what was a perfect tortilla for me, which is what we're serving at the restaurant now. And the important thing is, learning how to manipulate the ingredient in a way that will help you get there, and I think that's when cooking gets really personal. I think that's when cooking gets really delicious.
Well, I think the listeners would beg to know, what is your perfect tortilla?
To me, the most important thing about a perfect tortilla is the slightly burnt edges around the corner. I think when you get a little bit of burnt on there, it just really makes the aroma a lot more complex. I actually like them slightly thicker than what I'm used to in Oaxaca, because I like the creaminess from the bite, and I like a strong tortilla. A strong tortilla that can really, take a nice amount of filling, take a punch.
You don't want something that falls apart on the first bite.
Exactly. We all know what that's like.
Yeah, it's like 10 napkins you're probably eating over a trash can anyway. You also work with a number of really local heirloom corn growers. How did you build those relationships, and are there any you'd like to kind of call out and highlight that are making really special types of corn?
At the beginning of the journey, we were like, we have to work with local farmers. But then it's like, just running a restaurant in New York is such a battle on its own. And one of the important things that we found in this journey is that there's a whole community in Mexico. There's a whole community of people that acknowledge corn as, the beautiful ingredient that it is, as the importance it has to Mexico culturally, and also just like at a nutritional level, and so there's a huge community that's just trying to support this ingredient. It makes it very easy for us in New York, because you only need to know one person in that community to have access to all these amazing tools, network, and resources. We work very closely with Tamoa, and they do a much better job at sourcing than I think we could ever do. They source corn from many different places. They work with farmers on pilot programs. A lot of them, they work with these beautiful heirloom seeds that some of them have inherited probably for over 150 generations. But a lot of them are still stuck in that green revolution mentality, still using fertilizers. So working with them with pilot programs and, trying to regenerate the health of their soil. So we like working with Tomo a lot. We like that they're based in Mexico and that they're a Mexican company. We like that the money stays in Mexico. That's very important to us. that a Mexican company is actually distributing it. It's kind of like, I think, a step beyond trying to think, having Mexico help them grow out of like this third world mentality mind, where you need other people to distribute their riches. But yeah, and I think the beautiful thing about working with Tamoa too is that they just have, as they grow, they just have so much access to so many different varietals. Some varietals you fall in love and you don't see for a while, and there's always something new. One thing that's very important, I think, about the corn world is that there's a diversity to it. And the important thing is to try to embrace that diversity. And that's something that we talk to our wholesale clients about is, you might not know what you're going to get. And that's not a bad thing, because we don't want to be in the position of saying, I want this varietal and this color all the time. We really want to showcase the diversity of the corn.
When you say we and wholesale, are you also selling corn?
Yeah. So the idea behind our restaurant here in Bushwick is, at the front, we have a tortilleria where you can come buy tortillas, get a coffee. And then immediately behind that is our tortilla factory where we manufacture tortillas for our restaurant. And then we do a little bit of wholesale, and retail. And it's important for us to also be a tortilleria that you can come and buy tortillas and just have another channel to share the tortilla love with New York City. And in the back, we basically just do cocktails and tacos.
Amazing. We're going to take a quick musical break. We're going to play a song from our archive, and then we're going to come back with Zack and talk all about Sobre Masa here on Snacky Tunes on HRN.
flipping out the pages in your book. Oh, we're gonna find another way back home. It's written in our blood, oh, it's written in our bones. Yeah, we'll only be bound by the things we choose. Yeah, we'll only be bound by the things we choose. By the things we choose.
So let's go back. I know that you just touched on a brief overview of the restaurant, but you opened in 2021, bold year to open any type of culinary establishment. What led to that decision, and what is the really grand vision of the place?
Well, the restaurant has been a concept that has been in my mind for many years. And just I've been toying with the concept of just having an establishment where you can have good tortillas in New York City, because it's just something that seems so simple, but it's just so hard to do. And I think the pandemic allowed that time for, a lot of us chefs to just sit down and look back at your career and try to, get a business plan together. And, now you have all this time that you might have not had before, and into conceptualizing something. And I think that, during the lockdown, that was really when I had time to just sit down and look at my past experience and put together this business plan. And we wanted to do this. This restaurant where you could just celebrate corn and all its shapes, sizes, and and varietals, because it's such an incredible ingredient, and people don't even know that there's different varietals of corn, and that they all taste different and look different. So how can we have a place where we can just celebrate that ingredient and celebrate its producers as well? And that's really how the idea came to be, and that's really what was in our hearts when we started looking for a location.
It's interesting because it is cocktail bar, coffee bar, pastry shop, tortillas, but I also think that it's a very microcosm of what restaurants need to be post-pandemic, or at least, no one's just going to be like, oh, I'm opening up like a 45-seat restaurant. We're going to serve, heirloom corn. It seems to be this really modern blend of like, well, if we have to keep pivoting, there's still revenue sources. Is that just a natural outcome, or was that part of the consideration of the different businesses you opened under one roof?
No, that was definitely it. It was just kind of like moving away from putting all our eggs in one basket and thinking of different ways to sell masa, basically, to sell tortillas. And have, it just seems like the smarter business move to have different revenue sources. Just like, you hit it right on the nail.
I want to talk a little bit about the fact that you have 20,000 pounds of corn at any given time within the space. Where do you store it? And how much corn do you run through during the week? Follow-up question, is there a shelf life to corn where past a certain amount of time it's not good, like coffee beans or anything along those lines?
Well, the corn we store in the dining room. It surrounds the walls of the restaurant. So it's, I guess, by nighttime decor and by morning storage. We were going through, it's changed now in January. It's slowed down a lot, but there during the end of December, we were probably going through 400 pounds of masa daily. The corn has a shelf life of 1 year.
Amazing.
1 year at room temperature, I think. How we store it in these bags, right?
It's incredible. I want to touch on some of the other parts of the space. I want to start with the coffee bar. You're serving Oaxacan beans and also making Mexican hot chocolate. Where do you source your coffee from, and what are some of the flavor notes behind Oaxacan coffee?
The coffee is just, I think, in this path of working with tortillas and working with this community, it's really nice to just like, I guess you stumble across silver linings. I have a friend in Oaxaca that grows coffee, and then our landlord has a coffee roasting business. So it's very easy to just get the coffee for my friend and have our landlord, roast it for us. He has a cool company called Shared Roasting based off of Brooklyn, right? So I think that's cool. And I think that's something that we learned from the pandemic as well, right? It's just community and working together, right? So our coffee, I think we go a little bit darker than, I guess most like single origin coffee roasters would do, because we like that little bit of dark roast from, I guess like the bodega coffee, the New York City bodega coffee. We like those memories and we like those flavors. And we wanted to follow up a little bit more on just the memorabilia from that. Although, a lighter roast does bring in more of the nuances of the green beans. And I think the Oaxacan coffee is really nutty, but I think more specifically that we get off of the single origin that you don't really get off of most single origins is milk chocolate. It's very milk chocolatey. It's delicious.
And paired with your hot chocolate, for those who don't know what a Mexican hot chocolate is, can you please enlighten them?
Well, Mexican hot chocolate, chocolate is from Mexico, and the first way it was consumed was through a beverage. So, just hot chocolate like that, and we have it with water. I know that's sacrilegious for a lot of people, but that's the original way of consuming chocolate for thousands of years, before the Spanish brought over dairy. So that was a very important thing when we serve hot chocolate. Not a lot of people go for it, but, you can have it with water, which is actually how I prefer to drink it. And we do it in a Oaxacan style, which is basically seasoned very heavily with toasted cinnamon. And that's it. We're actually changing up. We're going to start working with Vesta, who uses Dominican coffee, and they roast. They're like a small bean to bar company in New Jersey. I think we're going to start working with them soon to with their chocolate for the hot chocolate.
Amazing. And you're also serving full circle Mexican pastries. I'd be remiss to ask, what what has made it into the restaurant? What's made the cut, and what have you and have you created anything of your own that gets the label of Mexican pastry?
It's really ironic. And I left to learn how to bring French pastries to Mexico, and here I am doing Mexican pastries in the U.S. Like Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. But we do these conchas really well, which we're really proud of, and I think Mexican pastries have really evolved, or I think really declined in a way where you don't really have that pride in Mexico, like let's say an Italian would, of saying, I make Parmesan and it's really good quality, and I'm going to just, I take pride in what I make and I take pride in the quality. I think a lot of times in Mexico, and especially in the baking world, it's, like, I need to sell more, and in order to sell more, I need to make it cheaper. And how do you make it cheaper? Add water instead of milk, reduce the amount of eggs or something like that. So I used to go to these bakeries, and I used to be like, how's the recipe different from when your grandfather used to make it? And the recipe was completely different, it completely evolved. It used to have more dairy. It used to have like pulque in it, which is like the Mexican beer. A lot of those breads used to have pulque as like, I guess, to help the yeast, give it a nice, because it's a very yeasty beverage. And so I was like, I was just really taken back by how much these pastries had just declined in quality. And so nobody really wanted to give me a recipe, but by hearing the stories, we were doing these recipes of what I think concha might have tasted a generation or two ago. And we're very happy with the product. Again, it's kind of like a silver lining. We have spent all this money in culinary school learning how to do these baked goods, and now we can, we can sell them. And Might as well put him to work also on our team. And one of our partners is Jesus Perea, who was the opening pastry chef at Cosme. So he's also a great source, and he's actually the one that's doing all the pastries right now.
When you said no one would give you a recipe, what did you mean by that?
Yeah, like if you ask them what your recipe for your concha is like no one will tell you that. But you'd say, oh, like, do you put eggs in it? Do you have milk in it? Right. And, you see the texture of the dough, feel the texture of the dough. So you just kind of like have to, just trial and error off of just hearing these stories.
And moving to another section of the space, you're also a full-time restaurant. You have a daytime menu and a nighttime menu. What are some of the dishes that you're serving there?
For the nighttime, we just do tacos. Not just do tacos. That's like
Don't diminish the taco.
We take pride. Yeah, man. Here I am, like trying to fight something, and now I'm like, that's exactly why we do tacos.
Right?
Because it's not just a taco. We focus on al pastor and bistec, which are two of the tacos you would find in I guess Mexican street food. Mexican street food, especially when it comes to tacos. What tacos you serve revolve around your cooking equipment. So, for instance, if you have those big casseroles, you're probably doing carnitas, right? If you're doing a grill, you're probably focusing on carne asada. And those Mexican city taquerias, they have a plancha and they have a pastor oven, and that's our specialty here. And the important thing for us in the restaurant is we really want you to try and think of Mexican food as Japanese food. Japanese food has done such a good job at marketing themselves in this country. If I go to a restaurant, a Japanese restaurant that has sushi, yakitori, and ramen, the odds are you're going to think it's a terrible Japanese restaurant, because Japanese, either they specialize in yakitori or they specialize in ramen. And Mexican cuisine is the same way. You have people that are just serving carnitas tacos their entire lives. Our guy that works at Pastor, he is an unbelievable craftsman. I would compare it to a sushi chef. I mean, the guy, his ability to just like cut the meat, build a trompo, and execute it. Like he can single-handedly probably serve 200 people just with like the speed that he's acquired over his time in Mexico City. And so that's what we want to showcase. Tacos as a craft that require attention and constant pursuit of perfection. That's why we only have 3 things on our menu.
It's incredible. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's such a good way to frame that. I've actually never heard that before, but it makes complete sense. I want to finally touch on your beverage program because you have a major focus on Mexican spirits, and I'm curious what your angle and take is given the rise of mezcal in the last few years, being from Oaxaca.
I think it's crazy. It's really fueled Oaxaca in ways I didn't really imagine. When I first moved to the States, I used to have to point out Oaxaca on a map. And now it's more like, oh, I'm going there next month. Like, give me recommendations of mezcal bars, And like, I don't, man, I used to never go to a mezcal bar. I don't even think that was a thing. Or at least it was just beginning to, you had like In Situ or like some of the classic ones. I think what we try to do, especially with the corn, is showcase the diversity of Mexican corn and its producers. And we're trying to embrace the same mentality with our bar program. But this guy, our beverage director, his name is Gaston, and he's done a really great job. I said that with the corn, and then he just built this beverage program around that philosophy of saying it doesn't just have to be mezcal. And it's cool too, because there's so many great people that are, trying to make a good rum, trying to make corn whiskeys based out of corn, So we have 8 cocktails right now, and they all have a story, and they're all unique and different, all in their own way and spirit, trying to really showcase that diversity, We have, cocktails with Posh, which is, a spirit from Chiapas. We have cocktails with Charanda, which is a spirit from Michoacan. We have, a cocktail with corn whiskey, right? Which is fairly, I guess fairly new brands, but are really trying to, make this a thing and evolve this industry. So I think it's important to point out that we're not trying to just be focused on mezcal with the restaurant. We're really trying to showcase that diversity in all the producers, because there's a lot of people that are trying to do a lot of really cool things with the spirits in Mexico and really move the industry forward. And I think they all really deserve a shout out. There's this company in the Yucatan, Casa de Risi, that does these liqueurs, and they do the sour orange liqueur. They have a coconut, and they have a guanabana one also, and they're phenomenal. They're world class liqueurs that can match any European liqueur. So I think it's cool to have those products on our beverage menu.
Amazing.
As pertains to the mezcal, I think our mezcal list is very small, and we try to do a very good job at curating it. And I think Gaston has done a nice job at just taking all of our opinions into account. He asked me what my favorite mezcal is to drink, and that's on the shelf. He asked my dad, and that one's on the shelf. As well as some fun new stuff that keeps coming in. I think there's a lot of politics behind mezcal in Oaxaca as the industry grows, and there's just so much more money poured into it. And, I think there's definitely a lot of fear because it drives a lot of things that you don't necessarily want your hometown to become, like gentrified. But, it's also pouring a lot of money into the economy. And it's also doing a lot of good, right? So I think like everything, it's got like its ups and downs.
Well, Chef, thank you so much for joining me. Where can people find the restaurant? How can they follow you? How can they come eat your perfectly burnt tortillas?
Our tortillas, you can find them in Bushwick. We are at 52 Harrison Place. You can always give us a shout out on Instagram. We are, our handle is at Sobre Masa. It's Sobre_Masa. And you can also always write us an email at hola@sobremasa, or visit our website sobremasa.com for more information.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to play another song from our archives, and then we'll be back with the second half of Snacky Tunes here on HRN.
Yay! Awesome. Let's do it, kids!
Whoa, hot damn! Whoa, whoa, thank you. Check it. Okay. Wake up in the morning to the clear blue sky. Turn up the music when I hop in the ride. The windows down, let the whole world see. Can't nobody rockin' like little old me. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. I got my Chucks and my Dickies and I put it on black. Banging Sinatra in the black Cadillac. My old lady hanging out the whole window. Everybody looking when we walking slow. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. Come on. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Everybody singing now. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Everybody singing now. Whoa. Everybody singing now. Whoa. Okay, now 1 for the money and a 2 for the show, but 3 to be a legend even if I'm po. I ain't chasing nothing, you gon' have to catch me, and if you wanna taste, you gon' have to pay a fee. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. To all my Molly Ring walls and my little scarecrows, where they hear my record, where they all hit the flow. Ladies rock a pose, come up in the front row. The homies in the back tip the hats real low. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. Come on. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Everybody singing now. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Everybody singing now. Whoa. Everybody singing now. Whoa. Come on. Let's go. Whoa. 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 Hey, hey, a little louder. A little louder. Okay, come on everybody, won't you clap your hands? White folks, do it on time if you can. Sounds good, now here's the plan. Let's all sing together like we in the same band. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. Oh my God, I'm the bomb and about to blow up. Oh my God. Okay, now we about to take it on a whole new level. Grabbing the light on the run from the devil. Been downtown for too long. I feel the sun rising all up in my bones. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. I'm the bomb and about to blow up.
Whoa, 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 let's go. Whoa, all around the world. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, a little louder. A little louder. Do the dang, do the dang thing. Do the dang, do the dang thing. Erica D has to doodle now. She told me earlier she has to poo-poo now.
This episode is brought to you by Roberta's, home of Heritage Radio Network for 10 years. Roberta's was founded in Bushwick in 2008 and has become one of the most iconic restaurants in the country. HRN made its home inside of Roberta's in 2009, and together they have become part of the DIY fabric of the neighborhood. Roberta's, the pizza restaurant, is open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week and serves much more than just the famous wood-fired pizzas. Their team dreams up new salads, pastas, and sandwiches on the regular. Roberta's Tiki Bar is alive and well in the back garden, serving up frozen drinks in the summer and hot toddies in the winter. Stop by the bakery and takeout spot next door for fresh breads, sticky buns, and pizzas to go. And of course, there's the 2 Michelin-starred Blanca tucked away in the garden for truly daring diners. But Roberta's also extends beyond Bushwick, with multiple locations in New York City and now in Los Angeles. You can also find their frozen pies in grocery stores around the country. The spirit of Roberta's, like Heritage Radio Network, is everywhere. Here's to many more years of pizza-powered radio. Learn more about Roberta's at robertaspizza.com.
We're Light Asylum.
We're Light
You
Asylum.
invited us
Light
here.
Asylum. Welcome. This is our.
Thank you.
We're gonna. I know it's not fall technically, but this is our first fall show. It's the
Yeah,
post.
I
It's
like
post Labor Day.
End of summer.
End of summer.
End of summer.
So why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm Shannon.
And I'm
F.
Bruno.
Shannon F.
Shannon
and Bruno.
F.
Bruno C.
Bruno C. Welcome to the show. For the listeners who are not aware of your magic, why don't you give them a little bit of background on who you are, or how you came to be?
Bruno and I, we met while touring with some friends in a band called Bunny Rabbit, and that was about, how long has it been now?
Through 4 years ago, 2007.
Yeah, and we bonded while we were stuck in a minivan together. Bruno was performing in Bunny Rabbit, playing guitar, and also doing like his solo project, Bruno and the Dreamies. And I was with a friend, invited to come along after having already been on tour a bunch, but get back in the van, and as the Pumpster and Derriere, and just a funny little booty-based thing. Yeah, so anyway, we bonded over music interests, and I was like, we should play some music together sometime. It took a couple of years for me to not be touring with Chick, and now I'm just focused on this, and Bruno joined the band like 2 years after I had started it. We've never looked back, and this is the perfect permanent incantation of Light Asylum.
It's a magic themed episode today. All incantations. So I know that you have a big, Shannon, large background in Brooklyn Museum. We talked how I saw you sing at that magical celebration, TV on the radio, Union Hall show.
The hottest show ever.
Yeah, in the back
Union
show.
Pool?
Union
Yeah.
Pool.
Union Pool,
Did I
yeah.
say Union Hall?
Yeah.
Which is where you played on Friday, so too many unions. But Bruno, what is have you from here, or where are you from?
I grew up in New Jersey, not too far away, yeah.
Awesome.
Dirty Jersey.
Dirty Jersey. Where do you represent? The North, the Middle, the South?
North.
North.
Yeah.
Are you a Flyers fan?
What?
Your answer is no.
Are you a Devils fan?
Oh, the New Jersey Devils? No, I'm not a hockey fan, sorry.
Just say you're a Flyers fan.
I'm a Flyers fan.
Awesome. Amazing.
We just lost some fans.
Yeah. Why don't we get a song in?
Or gain some fans.
Or gain some fans, because I know that we want to get you guys live, and they have a great setup in here.
New York.
We continue to
redefine what type of live setup we can do in here. Now I know we can do a bunch of synths.
Really pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
It's a really nice shack you guys got here.
Yeah, it's shipping containers actually.
If these 2 shipping containers were my apartment, I wouldn't be mad.
No, I wouldn't either. It'd be yours, and it's the future.
I'd put a little shower over here.
Nice.
And the water would be heated from the roof.
I'm a really good subletter if you should ever need a subletter.
We can just build like bunk beds, like
Looking
right
for
into the
someone to
walls.
fill out one half a shipping container. Brooklyn, obviously.
Yeah, $1,000 a month, utilities not included.
What? No. I'm actually looking for a permanent place to live, so if there's anybody out there who knows of a good place and they're not psycho and they want to share space.
What's the Twitter? They can tweet at you.
Light Asylum.
All right.
And she'll probably be on the road, which is a benefit.
Yeah. But I might need a subletter. Depends on how cheap it is. If it's really cheap, then I won't need to get a subletter.
Do you do early morning breakfast and serenading?
Sure. For a decrease in rent.
Awesome. I do that, breakfast and serenading. All right, so what's the first song we're playing?
Dark Allies. Dark Allies.
Yeah. All right, Dark Allies, Light Asylum live on Snacky Tunes.
You're alone in this world. But not for long.
Yeah. Woo! Woo. All right. Woo! Got real.
Gets a little warm in the shipping container.
I smell funny.
That was great. What was that song called?
Dark Allies.
So you just said that you were looking for subletter. Where did you come back from?
We spent the summer. Hi, if you just started listening, we're Light
Oh
Asylum.
yeah, this is Light Asylum. Sorry.
From Brooklyn, New York. I'm gonna take your jobs.
Yeah, take my. Yeah, it's cool. All I do is just eat pizza, really.
Yeah.
Does it pay?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 You know, just in case this doesn't work out. But
Yeah.
I think it's gonna work out.
I think it's gonna work out.
It'll be okay.
We just came back from spending the summer in Berlin, actually.
Ooh.
Hi to all of our Berlin peeps.
Sprechen
We
die
miss the
Deutsch?
hell out of you.
How is Berlin? I know
It's amazing.
I know everyone goes there. Is it as cheap as they say it is?
You know, like everywhere, it's amazing that it's like affecting even the other countries, but the it's just like homogenized everywhere, and there's gentrification everywhere.
Yes.
What was the?
It's world domination.
What did you eat when you were out there?
Lots of margarita pizzas and kebabs.
Shawarma.
Lots of shawarma.
Yeah.
There's something about
Schnitzel?
Actually, they're called
Bratwurst?
doners or
Yeah,
donors.
there's something about like the European doner that's just somehow I don't understand how they can't recreate it in the States. I don't know what it is. I don't know
There's
if
good doner kebabs here in the States.
not like
Yeah, I feel it's better there. There's like the bread is different.
The bread's different.
I mean, there's probably good ones here, but it's probably like to get like a European doner, it's like $10 as opposed to the
It's like €2.
the €2 out there, like the massive.
There's something about that European white sauce. It's better than the American white sauce.
Like I think for when I was there for New Year's in Berlin, like I had doner for like our New Year's Eve dinner just because it was so delicious.
How many? What's the largest German beer you had when you were there? How many ounces? 64, 72?
Well, not this time, but other times traveling across Germany, go to the famous Brauhaus.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the one in Williamsburg wants to be, but like seriously, I don't know. Like, what is that?
A liter? No, it's more. It's 750 milliliters.
Okay, so
It's
like
like a wine
a
bottle.
2-liter beer, it's like as big as your
2
head.
liter beer?
It's like as big as your head
Does it
and
come with-
heavy. It's like a workout. Like,
Yeah, but is it like a 2-hand lift type
yeah,
situation?
for real. Seriously.
That'd be so. The double beer mug.
How
handle.
embarrassing would it be if like you couldn't lift your beer mug? You're like, yeah. I was like, yeah, oh yeah, sure. You're like, I'm.
That's why I have
pathetically
straws.
weak. The straw. Oh yeah, you drink your beer with a straw. Who drinks beer with a straw?
Well, when you can't lift a 2 liter beer stein, you don't have any options. But Berlin was cool. Did you guys go anywhere else in Europe?
Yeah, we actually got to play. I booked a show with some heroes of ours. Actually, Bruno and I bonded over this band when I asked him if he knew who the Clan of Zymox was. He was like, I've never met anybody who knew who the Clan of Zymox was. And I was like, cool, we'll play with them someday. And so we did. In Leipzig, we opened for them.
What's it like?
How
to
was
play,
how was
play
meeting
with
heroes?
It's amazing. They're super sweet, like awesome people. Couldn't believe it. You
So
know?
you would recommend meeting your heroes?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
I would say it's a.
We were lucky.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that it's a. I feel like it's like a pretty solid toss up, usually in like the negative direction about meeting your heroes when you realize they're real people with their own different
Their own issues.
Yeah, flaws and stuff.
That's gonna name my autobiography: Heroes with Issues.
Oh, that's actually
Clan of Zymox is perfect.
Heroes issues. All right, so why don't we get another song?
Let's rip another fat one.
Yeah, we'll get the.
Heroes.
What's the name? What's the name of this one?
A certain person.
A certain person. Okay, so here we go. Light Asylum live here on Snacky Tunes.
We came in search of the secret of immortality, to be like God, to be like God. And here, more human. Please take the end of our adventure. 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 Please take the end of our adventure.
Woo. Amazing.
Yeah, sorry, that one was a little rough, you guys.
No.
I mean,
In the beginning,
you know,
we say, in the end, it was all right.
as we say the same thing about cooking. It's like just don't
Or life.
Yeah, or life. Don't tell anybody
Don't
until
tell-
somebody says something.
Yeah, until somebody says something, just be like, "Yep."
If you see something, say something.
Yeah.
See something. Do
So
everything.
which of the songs you've played are going to be coming out on the new record next year?
Well, I think, a certain person originally to us was like the single.
Right.
And then somehow, in this dark day and age, Dark Allies ended up stealing the light. So,
Magic.
again.
Dark magic.
Stealing the light. But so, yeah, I think we'll have to put a certain person on the full length. Kind of like, TV on the radio and satellite, It came out on the EP, and then it came out on the full length once they dropped that.
They did. They just did an awesome set at Virgin Free Fest.
Cool. We wanted to come, but we were playing a show ourselves that day with Flying Lotus and Gang Gang Dance at Le Poisson Rouge. That was Thursday, right?
Yeah.
And it was an NYU students only
We were there.
thing.
We were there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're NYU students.
Yep.
Oh.
No.
What's up? Freshman class. Can't wait. 2015. Yeah. What's up?
Can't wait to turn 21.
If
I'm gonna
anybody
get a-
wants to get some wings on my dorm eating points.
I'm going to get a fake ID at Washington Square.
Oh my God, we're going down to McDougal in third to get my moods, and then we're getting Michigan IDs.
That was the first time I'd ever seen Gang Gang Dance. I mean, heard that amazing.
Amazing.
Such a
Really
good-
family.
Really
Love 'em.
Then the guy, the positive vibes guy.
Yeah,
Taka.
they're totally...
Taco.
Taka.
Is that
Taka.
is he a permanent part of the live
Yes.
show?
Yes. That's what he does. He just spreads good vibes.
I mean, this is going to say, but when we were young and into ska and saw the Mighty Mighty Boss Stones, it's like the Ben Carr of the freak.
The Ben
freak
Carr,
rock.
the Ben Carr of the art world. That's a deep reference.
I was
to
a more of a... yeah. I was like a different kind of ska fan. I think
Would you like a second wave?
No, the first wave, actually.
Who was in second? I feel like it went right from first to third, and second wave was.
Well, this
Second was probably like Madness.
Madness. It was the 80s.
What? Well, the first wave. Second wave. Yeah.
First wave was like Scatolites, like them.
Yeah, like straight up from Jamaica.
From Jamaica, and the second wave was like the English.
Yeah, totally.
Could you
And
put
that's
the-
where I was
I mean,
on the second
you
wave.
could put
Yeah,
the
for
Clash.
sure.
I mean,
Both
I wouldn't put the Clash in there, but
They had influences.
They had
That was
influences the second wave.
so
And
great
then-
about England, that they were heavily influenced, from the Slits, and Clash, and
then
all the Selector, all those bands.
Fast forward to third wave when I'm dancing up to Less Than Jake, getting fired on my toilet paper gun.
So what is Gang Gang Dance has they're not straight up ska influences, but they're heavily influenced by dub and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
And they brought the dancers.
I mean, what is dubstep? Sixth wave, right?
It's not a wave.
It's actually 18th dimension. So you have the record coming out in spring. We're going to do it backwards because you told me backwards.
Okay.
November, you have the new single coming out? Or
Yeah, Shallow Tears. We just re-recorded it, and it sounds amazing.
Why the re-record?
Just to give the fans something new. And the first one is straight up a demo we recorded in a space as big as your radio.
Yeah, loft.
Yeah.
Loft apartment.
Imagine your bathroom in
The Boar's Head.
Bushwick.
Yeah.
Or the Boar's Head.
And then you
It's that
have
size.
something special coming out in October.
October is the Mexican 100th release from the record label Mexican Summer, which is a...
By the way, shout out to Mexican Summer and to Jess for setting this up.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
Jess.
thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Mexican Summer.
I can't
for
believe they've already had
setting it up.
100.
Woo!
Amazing.
Congratulations. That'll be out in October, and that's a split produced on both sides by Ford and Low Patton, formerly known as Games.
Yeah.
And, so one track with myself, Truly, and then also a lovely lady from a band of the same name, Tamarin.
Amazing.
That
So
comes out in October.
we're going to get you to play one more song.
Okay.
We want to say thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having
To
us.
Light Asylum. Do you want to give us all the very special, where to find, where to email, where to follow?
Oh, cool. You can just, if you have any inquiries about booking, you can go to our man, Avery McTaggart at the agency group in the U.S. We're still looking for a European booking agent. If you just want to write us and tell us how much you love or hate us, you can write us at lightasylummusic@gmail.com.
Don't send
Don't
hate
hate.
mail.
Don't hate.
Come on.
Because we don't have time for it. Really.
Honestly,
life is short and we don't have time for it. And we'll just not even open it. No, kidding.
What if they what if they put the subject line like "We love you" and you open it up and it's like
fuck it. I mean, can I say it? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's the internet.
You got 8 seconds to delete that. And then if you want to just see a Discog, once you can go to MexicanSummer.com, and you can also go to Academy Records or Other Music to buy physical copies of our
I don't understand.
EP on vinyl. You don't understand?
Oh, okay, vinyl. Okay.
Who took the
We
photo
have CDs
on the
with a
EP
really
cover?
Our friend Matthew Heiss shot that, and he's a really
Great photo.
amazing fashion photographer, Matthew Heiss.
And the next
We
show?
love you. The next show is
Playing Swarthmore College.
Swarthmore College in Pittsburgh.
The Earthworms.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's a yeah.
Earthworms.
How do you know that?
Because
What's
you
Earthworm?
rearrange the letters. Earthworms. That's their school.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you. And if you have an apartment for Shannon, you can hit him up on Twitter at lightasylum. All right. So
And I don't want to pay that booking fee,
Yeah.
whatever that crap is.
Yeah.
And I want to stay in Williamsburg because I've been here for 10 years, and I think I just deserve to be able to stay.
I would agree. Emily, what's the name of the last song you're playing?
End of Days. End of Days.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for listening to Snacky Tunes. We have VHS or Beta DJing next week, and we'll be back with more episodes. Here we go with Light Asylum. Take it out.
One, moving forward, two, positive forward, three, carefully there.
We talk about food, we talk about music with musical dudes. Finger on the pulse, snacky tunes.
This program is powered by Simplecast.
Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. For our freshest content and to hear about exclusive events, subscribe to our newsletter. Enter your email at the bottom of our website, heritageradionetwork.org. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at heritage_radio. Heritage Radio Network is a nonprofit organization driving conversations to make the world a better, fairer, more delicious place. And we couldn't do it without support from listeners like you. Want to be a part of the food world's most innovative community? Rate the shows you like, tell your friends, and please join our community by becoming a member. Just click on the beating heart at the top right of our homepage. Thanks for listening.